Hi, my name is Jarek and welcome to the Zillin tutorial. In the last video, we entered the dataset section and uploaded our first ever 2 datasets into our Zillin workspace. In this video, we're going to look a little bit more into it and try to understand a little bit more about the status of a dataset and how it relates to the projects that we'll be working on soon enough. So, let's begin. As we already mentioned, the 2 datasets we uploaded in the last video both have the status of a draft. Now, if we enter any of them, we can see that there is an option to publish a dataset. So, why? Why would we need to publish a dataset? Only a published dataset can be used in your annotation project. In other words, later down the line, when we enter the project section and try to create a project, we will not be able to link any of these 2 datasets into a project that we're trying to build. Those will be visible, but they will be invalid. So before we can actually start working on any project with using an existing dataset, Zillin must know that we already approve of this dataset, that we do not intend to make any changes to them unless it's absolutely necessary. And that's what the publication function does. Once we've published a dataset, it will become possible to link this dataset, to link the images inside this dataset to a project. So we can actually try to do it right now. Let's publish this dataset. And as we can see, that publishing a dataset will make it freeze, and it's only workspace owners, only the workspace owner and managers will be able to add images or delete those that are already annotated. And we have an explanation that it's because we want to assure consistency between various projects that will use this dataset. So, once we've published a dataset, basically the only difference for us is that this dataset can be used in a project, but we can still freely add images to it, and we can delete images from this dataset, the same as we would under the draft status. Why? Why are we still able to do it? Because we are the workspace owner. And Zillin assumes that the owner knows best, that the owner should have these privileges. And the same privileges in this case will go to the role of a manager, which we'll see more of in the professional playlist of this tutorial. So, as we can see, now the status of this dataset of the dataset drawings is published. But since we are the owner of this workspace, we're still 100% free to perform all the changes to this dataset that we wish. So before you, under the Annotate and Go plan, before you try to create a project, there is relatively little difference for you in practice whether a dataset is published or not. And we can see that we can mark images, and let's mark 3 of them, and we can delete those selected images. Yes, we do confirm it. Even though the dataset has already been published, we're still able to do it. And there is another view of those images. If we click here, we can see their names, the date of their upload, and other data associated with them. And here, under this tab, we can see the projects that this published dataset has been assigned to. So far, it hasn't been assigned to any project, so this list remains empty. But let's get back to our still unpublished bananas draft. And and let's publish it as well. We have the same warning. And now let's have a look at the account settings. The amount of images in published datasets, we have 11. Why 11? Because there are 8 banana images here, and there are 3 drawing images here. So now we have 11 images in total in published datasets. The used space is slightly lower than last time, but that's because we removed 3 images from the drawings dataset. So, in order to conveniently browse through our images, for the images in a dataset, there are several options at our disposal. We can use a create date, or the size of the images, and some other parameters to do that. And again, we're free to mark images and delete them if we so desire. But also, perhaps most importantly, we can add images, again using one of the 2 available to us functions. So let's add some new images. Those 4 we still haven't uploaded. And now we need to confirm that this dataset has already been published and that adding more images may affect other people's work. Yes, we do want to continue because we know that in this case it will not affect other people's work. But a published dataset is obviously much more vulnerable to some sort of outside intervention because once published, it can be used in a project. So now we know how datasets work in general. We have 2 datasets, both of them published and both of them ready to be used in a project. And that's it for now. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope that now you know a little bit more about how you can manage your datasets, how you can sort them, and you know the difference between a draft and a published dataset, even though under the Annotate and Go plan, that difference may not be all that striking. So follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, subscribe to this YouTube channel in order to be notified about the next entry in which we will head to the project section and finally start working on a project of our own. Thank you again for watching and have a nice day.